Welcome to the Live Courageously podcast show, episode 85. We're back. I'm your host, John Duffy, and Live Courageously has been the conscious theme of my life for the last 3 years since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, and an unconscious theme for most of my life. Now more than ever, the message of living courageously and rejecting the messages of fear that is promoted daily in the media is needed. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not the absence of fear. There's something contagious about someone who is courageous. And today's show is with a courageous friend and guest, Tom Olmer. And Tom is an American film, television, and stage actor, voiceover artist, and producer in the entertainment industry. He is also sought after for his work as a precision driver, a stuntman, and a firearms expert. Having performed for more than 40 years, Tom can be seen in over 80 major motion pictures and TV shows, including Grey's Anatomy, Nefarious, Criminal Minds, NCIS, Los Angeles, Days of Our Life, Baywatch, Monk, Beverly Hills, 90210, Dynasty, Cheers, and many, many more. A member of the Screen Actors Guild since 1981, his first on-screen appearance was in the Oscar-winning film Breaking Away while attending Indiana University in Bloomington. Ohmer honed his talents as a skilled marksman, firearms expert, stuntman, and technical advisor over his years with the U.S. Army and his former work as a police officer. Ohmer also worked as a motorcycle police officer in real life and in front of the camera, and is an avid Harley-Davidson rider, logging in over 500,000 miles throughout the years. But he's also the proud father of two great young men, and his favorite projects are family-friendly, faith-based ventures that cast a positive light on our military, our police, and our first responders. In his spare time, Ohmer works with a variety of veterans support groups and is a member of the American Legion Riders at Post 43 Hollywood, where I'm a member as well. So with that, let me welcome Tom to the show. Greetings, Tom. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, how you doing, John?
Excellent, excellent. How about yourself?
Excellent. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's you've had such a varied background, and I think your experiences in all those layers of going from the military, and we'll talk about all of the military to the police to acting and to all the service work that you do today with groups like the American Legion and others. Want to talk about all that, but I think it brings forward that message of living courageously in life. And so with that, I usually like to start the show off with two questions. And the first one is, the first one is, I just changed it to, the first one is, when did we meet, or how did we meet? How did, we end up coming across each other in life?
Yeah, I think we met over at the American Legion Post through VME, Veterans in Media and Entertainment. Prior to COVID, we used to host our meetings there at the American Legion Post in Hollywood, which is an epic post. It's built in 1923. Really, really cool post. But anyway, I think that's where we met, through the VME.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we were either at a stage reading or something else. I can't remember the actual first time, but there was a lot of great activities over there in Veterans of Media Entertainment. So yeah, that's where we met, and we've kind of run across each other in so many ways since then. The second question I always like to ask is, what does live courageously mean to you?
I think it means that you shouldn't have fear, and there's some things, especially now, like you were saying in your intro, the media is just thriving on scaring people. And I mean, you look at all the headlines and it's just like fear, 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 fear. And I think living courageously means you just live life without being afraid. And for me, it's my faith and knowing that God's in control. And so I don't have the fear, worst thing that's going to happen. I die and then I live in heaven for eternity, So I just try to keep that as a focus.
Well, I think, it kind of boggles my mind that how easy the media is able to manipulate people into fear, and I where I am in Santa Monica, you see people who are still living in fear of COVID and still walking around as if they're afraid of getting it in their car, afraid of getting it in the store. And that fear is it's just permeated a certain part of the population. So, that message, like you said, you had many experiences in life. So let's take us through your experience. you joined the military when you were young. Tell us a little bit about your background, your family, and why you went into the military, and how did your experience in the military affect you for a lifetime?
Yeah, thanks, John. I grew up in a little town in Indiana, Carmel, Indiana. When we moved there, there was 1,800 people.
Wow.
Today, there's more than 100,000. So it is just blown up. But I grew up there, a family of five. My parents were wonderful, wonderful parents. My dad served in the Army. So when I graduated high school, I was really kind of like a ship without a rudder. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of going back and forth. I want to do this, do that. So I decided, hey, I'll join the Army like my dad and learn a skill. And so I right out of high school, I mean, I graduated in May, and in July I was in basic training. So I got electronics. That's what I signed up for. So I installed and worked on radios and installed them in Jeeps and deuce and a halves and all that kind of thing, and worked on them. So I served for 3 years. And then after I got out, I decided, well, maybe I will go to college. So I went down to Indiana University down in Bloomington and joined a fraternity, Beta Theta Pi, which was a really great experience. And while I was there attending college, this film was filming on campus right there in Bloomington, which was kind of unheard of. There's never been a movie shot there before, but it's called Breaking Away, which was a great movie. And I got a part as an extra, just as a fraternity jock, and so I kind of saw the way films were being made, and it just really intrigued me. So I left college. I didn't even graduate. I left college and came to LA to be an actor. So that was my route here.
So you got bitten by the acting bug, and now, did you ever expect that when you were in the military? Did you ever think you wanted to be an actor, or was just that moment opened up that door for you and you decided to go through?
Yeah, when I was in the military, everything was, I was in high school, I was working on cars. It's the only auto shop is the only class that got straight A's, so I was always working on cars with all my buddies and everything. So I was very technical. I have a very technical kind of, I can fix things and, work with tools and all that. So that's always been kind of a gift that I've been blessed with. But so I thought in the Army, I work on radios. I thought when I left the Army, I was going to go into electrical engineering and be an electrical engineer. And after a couple of semesters of that, it was just so technical and just, in our calculators all the time. And I thought I wanted something more personable. So I switched my major over to telecommunications, which was getting in front. And then we had to get up in front and kind of speak in front of people and stuff. And I think that kind of sparked the interest. And then when the movie came to town, then I was like, okay, that's what I want.
And that was it for you. What did your family think when you made that decision to A, quit college, and B, go become an actor? I'm sure that was like a appreciated response from them.
Yeah,
right?
No, it was like they thought I should have gone to MIT, and they thought I'd be a brilliant engineer. And my mom's brother was a brilliant engineer, and he had all these contacts. He worked for General Motors. He had all these contacts. If I just went to MIT and got a degree, I could work for General Motors. And, I had my whole. Or I could follow my dad's footsteps. He was in sales, industrial sales. And, so they thought that was my path. So when I told them I wanted to be an actor, they're just like, but eventually when I started booking roles and stuff, they kind of saw how much of it was a passion for me. But for years, it was just like, what are you doing? And then it got me, thinking to myself, yeah, what am I doing? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, before we step forward into the acting, and we will just take a moment with the military experience and the 3.5 years you spent in the military, what would you say were maybe some of the key takeaways that you took away out of that experience, and what did it offer you that kind of affected you throughout your life?
Yeah. I grew up, like I said, with a really, great family, with 3 brothers and a sister, and going to church every Sunday. And my dad was very patriotic. So I always had this he always flew a flag in the front of our house. And so I always had that patriotic kind of growing up. But I tell you, when I enlisted in the Army, and they in basic training, it's not just all about shooting and marching, and they teach you about history too. And I started learning more and more history about the Army and how it was founded and all the wars we won. And then I tell you what, John, when I graduated from basic training, and they have the big parade, you know how it is and then they have the flag flying by, and you play the national anthem. I'm getting goosebumps right now. When I heard that national anthem, I heard it for the very first time. Really heard it for the very first time, and it just meant so much to me to after going through basic training and seeing the flag and hearing that national anthem and understanding every word for the first time. That was, and to this day, every time I hear the national anthem, I get all welled up. It is just ingrained in me now how great this country is, and the sacrifices that millions have done, given their life to defend our freedoms over the years. And it's just, so to me, that just cemented my patriotism and my love for this country.
That's very cool, man. That's a great experience that you had that gave you a lot of gifts. And we're going to come back to it because there's also practical gifts that you took into the work you do in the film industry.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later. But I just wanted the next step. So you moved to Hollywood, and then you were, like everybody who comes out here to be an actor, you were an overnight success, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. No.
So tell us about that journey, arriving here and struggling, and tell us about your acting journey while you're in Hollywood, arriving here as a young man, trying to like create a new career and a new identity.
Yeah, that always reminds me of the old joke. You're at a dinner party, and then you're meeting people for the first time. And you say, "Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, what do you do? I'm an engineer. Oh, what do you do? I'm in IT. What do you do? I'm an actor. Oh, really? What restaurant do you work at?" and there's a reason for that. I guarantee you, and people that live out here in LA know this, but I guarantee you go to any restaurant in the LA area, and your waiter is either going to be an actor, a writer, a director, a producer, something in the entertainment business, waiting for their break. And the reason that's so conducive to that is you work at night, and it keeps your days free to be able to do your auditions. And the best part about it is if you book something, you can just say, "Hey, Joe, can you take my Friday night shift? I booked something. I'm going to be out of town, and I'll work your Saturday." You can do shift trades and stuff. So it's not like you work for corporate America where if you don't show up, they'll fire you. You can always have somebody to take your place. So, and then plus you get to eat free too, so it's a perfect job while you're studying your craft and getting. So right off the bat, I got a job as a waiter in a really nice restaurant in Beverly Hills. I was fortunate. Wore tuxedo every day, and all the a lot of celebrities came in. Stuff. It was really high end 4-star restaurant, and got a tiny little apartment and a motorcycle, and just would work at night, and then during the day I would try to find an agent, started to go out on auditions, and a lot of acting classes. I was telling somebody, if I had college credit for every acting class I took, I'd have like 3 PhDs by now. So it's just, you got to do that. You got to always study and always be in workshops. So I was doing a lot of that. And, just hitting the pavement. And back then, you would see people in person. You'd have general interviews and so forth. And so, yeah, did that until things started finally, coming together.
Well, I got into it older than you, so it was a little different. When I came to LA in the 90s, I was acting back in New York, and I started acting out here in LA. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to do the waiter or the bartender gig, but I ended up becoming a counselor with runaway kids, and then a mental health counselor. So I did that for a couple of years. But as I was a counselor with runaway kids in Hollywood, that's how I moved from in front of the camera to behind the camera, because one of my co-counselor started directing rap videos, and he said, "Hey, why don't you be my production manager?" And I was like, "What's that?" And he told me. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's easy." Well, what little I knew. But anyway, next thing I know, I was his production manager, and that led me to behind the camera. So that's why I ended up in where I am today. But
So when you were doing your counseling and so forth, that probably worked out pretty well. When you're sitting in the audition room, you could counsel all the other fellow actors there.
very true. And as a
Yeah.
line producer, I do a lot of counseling for my whole crew. It's like I'm part therapist. The only thing I don't do is I'm not able to give them any of the right drugs if they're on the wrong drugs. But I don't get to do that. But yeah, it's been a fun journey. But like just like for you, the door opened for me. I never expected to act. That was the last thing on my mind. And then the door opened up and I just pursued it. And it just went into that direction, which led me step by step to this. But, so you get out here, you're doing the acting. And so tell us a little bit about the roles you started to get. Was there, I mean, you were young, you were in your 20s, I would imagine, right?
Right. Yeah. I'll never forget my first role was on a show called Dynasty. And this isn't the remake. This is the original with Joan Collins and all that. And that was my first speaking role. And it took me almost 3 years to get my first speaking role. Wow. And it was, huge. I mean, at the time it was like the #1 show, so that was my first speaking role. And then, when you're in the acting kind of circles with fellow actors and you're in acting classes and somebody's, hey, I'm working on this project, would you want to help out with that? Or, and this is even nowadays, it's even easier to do that because you can just, pick up one of these and make a feature film with this, back when I was, first, everything was, film. There wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot of video going on. And if it was, very primitive video cameras. So now it's a little easier for the young actors starting out to just, hey, let's go in the backyard and just shoot that. I got this great idea, a little fun skit. Let's do a 5-minute short, whatever. So back then I didn't have that. So it was always trying to, get in on some kind of studio production and, interviewing a lot and doing a lot of casting workshops, which helped a lot. You meet a lot of casting directors that way. So just, trying to get that next role. And one thing I've found in the corporate world, let's say you start out in the mailroom and then you do really well. And now you're working in helping with marketing. Now you're doing, and as you get better and better and better, you get promoted and promoted and promoted. Same thing with the military. You start out as a private, you do really well. You take your test, you're sergeant, you do it. Maybe you go to college. Now you're an officer, and there's always that level of progression. But with acting, it's not like that at all. It's like even if you get on a great show and you do a great job, when it's over, when they wrap, you're unemployed. And it's like starting from ground zero again.
And that's the hard, and we'll talk about that later too, with the work you do with VME and some of that. But, a lot of veterans are, come into the industry and want to be actors. Some want to be other things, but a lot of them want to be actors. Mm-hmm. And once again, they have this illusion that it's an easy path, and it's not. It's time consuming, and so you have a lot of experience to share with them because you've gone through that. What it takes to be able to succeed and all that. And just with that, I'm just going to share, and then we'll talk about it. You can maybe tell me little stories as we do. I'm going to take you through some of your pictures, and when it comes up, you can share a little story about what that was like. So let's do that. Let me share the screen, and let me see where I'm going to grab this one is.
Oh no, not that picture.
I hope this is the right one. Yeah. And here we go. So, all right. So this is the first picture.
That's a film that we just shot last year in West Virginia, where I played the sheriff, and I also produced that. And so we're in post-production right now.
And let me see if we can go to the next picture. Here's the next one.
Oh, that was the play that we did. In fact, you came and saw that play. It was at the Blue Door Theater in Culver City. It was written, directed, produced, and acted all by veterans. And so that's a group of us there. Except for the girl on the right, we were all veterans. And that was just a small play that we did in Culver City.
Yeah, and was it written by someone from the Legion, from the American Legion?
Yeah, matter of fact, Lester Probst, and in fact, he just died a few days ago. So
may he rest in peace. He wrote some very cool, and I remember this play, and I remember talking to him at the play after the show was over.
Yeah, he was a Korean War veteran and really loved writing, and he wrote this play.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was well done, and you were excellent. And it is another.
A youngster. That was when I was home on leave, and I was a private first class then. So, and I had hair. That's graduate. That's the day I graduated basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Wow. And let's see what it. Okay, here's.
And that's just my profile from my military stuff. That's my fraternity brothers. Beta Theta Pi and Indiana University. That's me in the front there, laying down on my side with a Stroh's beer in my hand.
I was going to say I had a feeling that there was some partying going on involved, but now you just confirmed it.
Yeah, I think there was a few adult beverages consumed in that house from time to time.
I bet. More like multiple cases, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's
Oh, now there's my passion right there. That's my Harley, and that's I think in Wyoming. In fact, on Tuesday I am leaving for 2 weeks, and I'm going to go from here to Nevada through Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Utah, and Oregon and back. So I'm taking 2 weeks off. I'm going to take that bike and off we go again. I mean me and the bike.
that's you and the bike. Hey, I'm going to pivot at this moment because, we mentioned in the introduction how many miles you covered riding cross country and how many states. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Some of how many states you've covered?
Yeah, this is my 8th Harley over the years. Love Harleys, and I've been on my Harley every state west of Indiana, with a few exceptions going east. But I haven't done the eastern seaboard yet. But yeah, I have over 500,000 miles on the various bikes, and a lot of that is just commuting here in LA too, because I didn't have a car for 10 years. I just had a motorcycle, and now my car. The only time I take my car out is if I have to go to Costco, because it's kind of hard to do Costco shopping on a motorcycle, or if it's raining. And as everybody probably knows, it's sunny 350 days out of the year here in California. So all but 15 days, I'm riding that bike.
And when it rains, everybody out here has besides it being wet from the rain, they have a meltdown. So that's another form of, it freaks everybody out here. So
yeah, they go, what are these things going across I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Exactly. Here's another great picture.
Oh yeah, that's the fabulous Gary Sinise, who we both know. I've known him for I've met him in 2010, I think. So really, really great human being, great guy. He everybody probably knows, huge military supporter, fabulous actor. But this was at a VME event, and I got to be the moderator and got to interview him in front of our VME crowd. He was very cordial, and just I volunteer for the Gary Sinise Foundation. When he was in town, he moved his operation to Tennessee. But when he was out here, whenever the Lieutenant Dan Band would play, I'd always volunteer for those events. And whenever he was speaking or whatever, I'd always volunteer for that organization. It's just one of my top favorite organizations.
Well, I've met him many decades ago, and he's truly one of the great humans out there, and what he's done for the veterans, in all of his activity, both with his foundation, but then also with his band.
Yeah.
And I've seen his band performed at the GI Film Festival and a bunch of other festivals.
Yeah.
And he's just, to me, he's a role model for me, just of somebody who gives back and is about service to others. And that is just, too few people in our Hollywood industry really have that spirit of service. And
That's true.
Definitely a role model to me. The other day, we were at an event, Wings Over Wendy's, Air Force veterans, and he sent a tape video to them, recognizing them and recognizing some 100-year-old veterans who were at the event. And that was very special to them. And that's the thing. He always has time to give to others.
And he paid for the food for that event too.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. He's an amazing individual. His movies are great. And, I wish there was more like him in the entertainment industry and in life.
Yes.
So
totally
we're both
agree.
to know him.
Totally agree. We could do a whole hour just on him.
Easily.
Yeah. So there's me as a young officer with LAPD. I joined in the late 80s. And so that's me being a policeman.
Well, let's take a minute, since we got a picture of you as a policeman. Tell us a little bit about the time, because you worked in two different places, right?
Mm-hmm.
CME and also in LA.
Yeah.
So tell us about how many years you were a police officer. What did you do? Some of the things that you were involved in, and what was that like, just, for your life? And you were acting. Were you acting at the same time?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So share that story with us. It's a great.
Yeah.
I think it will be a great story.
I was doing the acting thing, and like we were talking about, I was waiter, bartender, limo driver, all those kinds of jobs, and I decided to join LAPD. They were hiring at the time, and so I joined. There was a 7-month academy. After I graduated academy, I did my probation at Rampart. And from there, I went to West Traffic because I wanted to get on motors. I wanted to be a motor cop. So I went to West Traffic Division. And then the riots came in 1992. And I just saw a lot of things that was really discouraging and disheartening. And I just felt that I was newly married. My wife was pregnant. I was going to start a family. I just thought, you know what? I don't want to do this. And so I went to another police department, Simi Valley, which is for people who don't know, it's a suburb northwest of Los Angeles. It's in Ventura County. So it has a lot of different laws and so forth that LA doesn't have, which is, it's a lot more of a friendly, family-friendly, safe place to live. So I went there and was a police officer there. And then I got a motor, so I rode a police motorcycle there. And the acting, I was still doing the acting. In fact, my acting really picked up because I was starting to book all the cop roles. And, a lot of times I wore my uniform into the audition and they go, "Oh, you're really a cop, huh?" And so now they know I know how to hold a gun, and you don't hold it like this, like they always do. And just knew how to handcuff it, talk on the radio, knew the lingo, knew the tactics and all that kind of thing. So I ended up booking a lot of cop roles, and the acting really picked up. So I actually took an early retirement from the police department, but I liked the job so much I stayed on as a reserve. So I was a full-time for 10 years, and then I was a reserve for 10 years.
Wow. So definitely seen a lot in that experience, and a lot of interaction with people not at their best, unfortunately.
And and that actually in a kind of a selfish way that actually really helped my acting career, because I lived a pretty naive life in Indiana, and never even seen a dead body before, and then I come out here and you see all the carnage and you see all the just the emotions that people have, at tragedy, and we have to we have to be the one that's in charge and in control. You go to a scene, murder scene or something, people are screaming and yelling. And if we freak out, then it's chaos. So we have to take charge and you kind of, especially when there's kids involved, the innocence of kids, that makes it really tough, but you keep on that. And then when it's all over and you go home, then it kind of, then you kind of have to deal with it. And, fortunately, I have my faith that helped me through that, but a lot of guys struggle with that and get PTSD or try to medicate themselves with alcohol or drugs or something, and it's a tough thing to see. I tell people you have no idea what goes on between midnight and 6 a.m. every night when you're sound asleep and everybody's quiet. You have no idea. I had no idea that it's just like Night of the Living Dead. These people just come out, and when the sun comes up, it's like roaches. They scamper and they go away. But between midnight and 6, it's crazy.
Yeah, I just moved out to LA right around the Rodney King riots, and it was a crazy experience because I was actually on the street corner 10 minutes before they pulled that truck driver Reginald Denny out of the truck and beat him. I was on that exact street
Florence
corner.
and Normandy, right?
Florence and Normandy. I was there, and I got home to I was living in Van Nuys, and I watched it on TV, and I was like, oh my God, I was there 10 minutes before.
Wow.
And then we went out to Westwood, me and a buddy who I knew out here, to go out and grab some food, and they started rioting in Westwood, and that canceled that night. So we obviously did not go to eat. Yeah. But it was an interest. And then the next day, funny, I went for an audition down in Laguna Beach, and it took me like 5 hours to get back because they blocked every freeway getting off because of the riots. So it was an interesting moment, and you experienced it obviously as a police officer. But wild times.
We actually, when I was with LAPD, we actually they call it attack alert, which automatically, whatever your regular schedule is automatically canceled, and you either work the A shift or the B shift. The A shift is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The B shift is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So everybody, you either work A or B shift. So we were 12 on, 12 off for that whole time.
Well, let's keep going through some more of your pictures, and then I want to play a couple of your reels so people get to see your acting as well, and then we'll get into some of the service and the military give backs that you do. I want to get to all of it, and it's going to be a challenge. Trust me.
So there's my dad and mom. They were married for 52 years.
Wow.
Everybody thought my mom looked like Hedy Lamarr, which she was a beautiful actress back in the 40s.
And I usually don't say this, but like 52, that's unique. In Hollywood, is 52 minutes, I think, is the length.
Well, no, what they say is diets last longer than marriages.
Yeah. So they were married for 52. What a great couple. That's very cool, man.
There's my two boys. They're not boys anymore. They're young men. That's Greg on my right and Donald on my left. Donald graduated from USC Film School and is now a producer. And Greg graduated from UCLA and is a teacher at Palisades High School.
Well, you're going to have to connect me with your son, the producer, one of these days. We're going to have to at least catch up all and have coffee or whatever.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
catch up what he's doing and everything. That would be great.
Both great kids. There's my first Harley, 1987 Softail at my favorite place, Cold Springs Tavern up north of Santa Barbara.
Nice. All right.
And there's that was that Ride to the Flags, I think, or no, Ride for the Blue.
Oh, that was Ride for the Blue. Yeah. And a couple of weeks ago, 9/11, the weekend before 9/11.
Ride for the Flags. Yep.
You did a Ride to the Flags from then up in where is it?
Pepperdine. We started at Point Magoo, and then we had a police escort all the way to Pepperdine.
So this is a film that we're going to watch a trailer for it later, but this is a film that you did, and we'll talk more about it when it comes up. But Nefarious, which I got a chance to see at the church up in, I think, God Speaks Church.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Where they screened it. So, we'll talk more about it. But, then I'll comment on it because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's at the premiere of Nefarious in Dallas, Texas.
And the star, you were the third lead. The star in that is
in the middle. Sean Patrick Flannery in the middle, and then Jordan Belfi is off to his right, and then I'm off to the
and Sean, I worked. Sean Patrick Flannery did a horror movie we did many years ago called Devil's Something.
Yeah,
something to do with the devil, but he's an incredible actor.
Yeah, he really is.
Here you are.
Yeah,
that's also. And that's
that we shot at a working prison in Oklahoma. That's actually in the yard of the working prison.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's Ride for the Blue that we do every year. We have about 300, 400 motorcycles that go. We start in Simi Valley and we hit every police station in Ventura County.
Right. And let's see. I forgot a couple more pictures.
That's the latest film I just shot this summer called Sarah's Oil. It takes place in 1912, starring Zach Levi, and I played the judge.
Excellent. And
you'll be hearing a lot more about that. And that's the director and the producer and at the oil rig out in Oklahoma.
Excellent. Excellent.
That's a military surrender only to one, where I played a 5-star general.
All right. And
best job in the world right there. I had fun.
All right. At that point, I'm going to pivot. And so I want to show, we'll stop this screen and we'll pivot to another, and then we'll get back to that. And just want to, I'm going to, you know what, before we go into your reel, I'm going to do Nefarious, since we just seen that. And okay. I'd love to talk about that. And then we'll go into your reel after that. So let me throw that up on the screen. And,
is this a trailer for Nefarious?
Yeah, this is a trailer. It's like 2 minutes long. Yep. We'll throw this up on the screen. And,
it's streaming on Amazon Prime right now.
Okay. And I'm going to show the whole thing so we can see it full screen.
Oh. Accepted my offer, James.
Execution scheduled for 11 p.m. But he's trying to convince us he's gone insane.
And therefore incapable of being executed.
I need you to prove he's faking it.
Edward? I'm gonna ask you some questions.
I'm not Edward. I'm a demon.
Demons aren't really a thing. What happened to Edward?
We own him.
We?
He's a master manipulator. You have your head so twisted around you think you're the killer, not him.
And give me something to make me believe you. Prove to me you're a demon.
It's probably just a coincidence.
I want to talk to
the real
Edward.
Makes me do that. I can't stop him.
I need you to see something. You got a fan. Did the same thing with all his victims.
Help me!
I'm trying to, Edward, but you have to answer my questions. You have to tell me the truth.
It won't let me!
It can go away. It can go away. Yes?
No. It's starting to happen. Can you feel it, James? I think it's time we tell you exactly what it is that we'd like you to do.
All right. That was, I tell you, when I saw it, what a powerful movie, what powerful performances. And you know, you play, you know, as the warden in this prison. It was a movie that just captivated you from the beginning to the end. So congratulations on your work in it and being part of that movie. So tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I actually, Carrie Sullivan and Chuck Kozelman, the two guys who directed it and wrote it, I actually saw them speak years ago at a seminar. And one of the things Carrie said that really stuck out, he said, and this was a whole room full of faith-based movie makers, actors, directors, everything. He looked out at the audience and he said, "We don't need more Christian movies." And everybody's like, what? And he said, "We need more Christians making movies." which is a kind of a difference. Some of the, as a lot of people know, a lot of the faith-based films are, especially older ones, are just really cheesy and not too many people watch them, and the production value is not that great. But they set out to tell this story and really just wanted to go all out, and we shot it at a real working prison. And so anyway, so after I heard them speak, I introduced myself, and they said, yeah, we'll keep in touch. We kept in touch over emails and so forth. And then out of the blue, I get an email from them, say, hey, we're getting ready to shoot this movie. There's a part in there you'd be perfect for. Are you interested? And the rest is history. And it was a great experience, just unbelievable.
Well, I think what was unique is obviously it's a faith-based movie, and for Christians watching it, they're going to take something out of it, and it's really well done and strongly entertaining. But also for people who are not, they're going to come see this. It's just a powerful movie, and it'll make you think, and it'll also make you experience things that you didn't want to. So everything about it was well done: the directing, the producing, the acting, all the characters in it. Obviously the 3 key characters, yourself included. Just all that was just so well done. It was a great night of a film watching it.
Yeah. And they're getting ready to. They're actually going to produce a 8-episode limited series based on the film. So they're working on that right now.
And you can see that this would lend itself to be broadened out, and that's something, and that's unique too. To have a film like this that then is going to expand and be able. So I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and they'll probably do it in Oklahoma, I would imagine.
I would think so. But yeah.
So I'm going to jump. I might as well jump into your next actor's reel, and then we'll come back to. We'll finish up on the service and the stuff you do with all the organizations and do all that good stuff. But I just want to highlight a lot of your acting right now. And since you went on that journey and you've done so much of it. So here, let me just throw up your reel. And
I like that analogy. You're going to throw up my reel. There it is. When it's coming.
I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
All right. On that note, hold on. Let me get us to there.
Had any visitors?
He got in your head, didn't he? Look at you, man. You're shaking. Here you go. I buy 1 pack of these day before an execution. The deal is, if there's any left by the time I drive out of here tonight, they go in the trash.
Are there ever any left?
Never. Well, if you decide our boy isn't fit for execution, he's no longer a condemned man. I mean, sure, he'll spend some time in psych lockdown, but eventually he'll make his way back into the general prison population, where he'll spend every moment of every day thinking about you. And some night, he's going to be standing at the foot of your bed, looking down at you. My guess is, it won't end well. When a man sits in a cell 23 hours a day with nothing to do but reflect back on all the evil that he's done, sometimes the man you execute isn't the same man who came in here. And you feel bad about that. But this is not one of those times.
How'd you find me?
Smartphones.
That's an invasion of my privacy.
Well, maybe you should have answered when we called you.
Why? Got nothing to talk about.
Not even Ollie drew it? Okay.
That was a long time ago.
Hulk's calls weren't a long time ago.
He wanted me to buy into Druid's company. That would have been a sweet payback.
Payback for what?
For not making me a partner. I was nowhere near that building when Druid was killed. And I can prove it.
Tony McCacci is most likely Basola the Enforcer.
Please don't. I have nothing. No money, nothing. Nothing. Please don't kill me.
This isn't about money. This is about the murder of Emma Schuler.
Oh God. And that was an accident. Please. No, that was an accident. Please.
Going somewhere. Hear the joke about the two Irishmen?
What was that?
Honey, you have to learn a little bit German.
I know a little bit.
Ja.
I can count to 5.
Weet je wat een dom ezel is?
A what?
Du bist ein kleiner, süßer, dummer Esel.
What does that mean?
Like, sweetheart,
Sweetheart?
Yeah.
What is it? Hazel?
dom ezel.
Doom Hazel? Means sweetheart?
Mhm.
Somehow I don't think that's right.
You need me now. It's up to you. You're never going to get out of here tonight. It'll be dark. I couldn't lead you back if my life depended on it, which I think it does. Do you want a drink? Because this is going to hurt like hell to get this out.
No drinks.
You mind if I have one?
Where is it?
My family gave me this land.
Just look all you've done with it.
Well, if you win the rat race, you're still a rat.
You know, a few months ago, it was looking like maybe not all of us were going to be here today. I want to thank God for this blessing. I want to thank God for my baby.
The air traffic control, let them know we're on schedule. Might get in early. This tailwind keeps up.
This area's off limits. Listen to me. I'm a U.S. Air Marshal, okay?
Yoke's non-responsive. It's like stirring cement.
War changes us. For generations, brave men and women have taken an oath to protect the United States of America. We have an epidemic on our hands. Every 65 minutes, we lose one American hero. Too many are losing hope and taking their own lives.
Bill and Martha came into the bank today. You remember Bill and Martha, right? Want to refinance her house again. I told them, it's fine with me. I'll help you out with that.
How was golf yesterday?
Great. I told you that.
You left your cell phone on the kitchen counter. It's almost like you wanted to be caught.
Red room.
Well, a long body of work there, Tom.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if there's any, which of those 1, 2, 3 would you say were the favorite of your so far in your career, some of the stuff you've done up to date?
Guys, you know, shooting Nefarious was actually one of my best experiences. You know, that was awesome. And, you know, most of the roles I play are authoritative or a dad or something like that. So playing that hitman on Criminal Minds was kind of fun. You know, that was kind of against typecast. And so that was kind of cool.
And what was it? I met some of the obviously I met the producers from Nefarious. What was it like working on that particular set? I mean, besides your role as an actor, just the atmosphere that was created on the set. Because from what the people I met at the screening, I just got a feeling that they set a certain kind of atmosphere for everybody involved that was kind of special.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, they had a Catholic priest on the set every day, and they had a married couple, both pastors, that would do a prayer circle in the morning. Very first thing, if you wanted to. It wasn't mandatory. You know, if you want to say a little prayer before we start, there's a corner over there, and there'd be about 12, 15 of us that would gather and say a little prayer before we shot. And I tell you, the Satan did not want that film to be made. I mean, there were so many things that happened to circumvent that ever being shot. So if we didn't have that hedge of protection around us from them, it would have. I don't know if that movie would ever be made. It's out on DVD. It's also Amazon Prime, but on DVD it has all the extras. And Carrie and Chuck do a director's commentary throughout the whole film and talk about all the things that happened, like supernatural things happened to where that movie should not have ever have made it if it hadn't been for all the prayer.
Well, first, where can people see it right now? You said Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. It's streaming for free. Yes,
streaming for free, and it's also on DVD if people want
DVD.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then, of course, the 8-part series will be in the future, and that will end up on streaming, depending on what the streaming service is that they put it together with.
Yep.
You know, I don't remember who. I guess it was Carrie. I think, if I remember right, the producer who told a story at the screening about an event that happened to him right after, which was really freaky. Once again, like you're saying, where he was opening his car door and he reached. I guess he bent in. He had a child in the car or something, and he was bending in, and somebody took the door off. And if he was one step out, it would have taken him off and killed him. So it was that moment of just that close an encounter that he could have died at that point. So yeah, he told that story, and it was like, whoa, you know. But
there was a lot of examples like that. The priest had a emergency appendectomy, almost died from an appendicitis. I mean, on and on. There was so many things that happened, just really freaky things.
Yeah, well, it's a good movie. I recommend people check it out. I'm not a horror fan. I don't like horror movies, just because. But but this one I highly recommend, and because I don't really even call it a horror movie.
No. It's a psychological thriller.
It's a psychological thriller, but it also has elements that take you to, you're in the dark, you're in the dark side, but you go to the light, and you don't end up in the dark, and that's right. That's you go on that journey in the movie with the actor story. Yeah. So congratulations. I'm glad you had.
Thank you, John.
Part of that, man. So let's pivot again, and I'm going to try and I don't know how many pivots I'm going to get in before I end this, but besides everything else you've done, obviously you're a member of this group, and tell people about it and what you do with it. VME, which is Veterans in Media Entertainment. Tell them what that is and what purpose that serves in Hollywood.
Yeah, we're a group called VME, Veterans in Media and Entertainment, and we're about almost 6,000 strong now.
Wow.
It's the requirements are you have to be a veteran, and you have to be in the entertainment industry in some shape or form. I mean, there's actors, directors, producers, writers, grips, gaffers, helicopter pilots, anything that has to do with entertainment industry, and you're a veteran, you can join the group. And we have all kinds of networking events. I was just a few days ago, we went to Paramount. There's a group of us that got to go to Paramount Pictures, and we had a whole panel from like the VP of casting and all these producers and people from Paramount, because Paramount has a veterans initiative. They call it Paramount Veterans Network or whatever. And they are trying to provide opportunities, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera for veterans. And so those are the kinds of things that we can do. Great people that run it. It's just a whole lot of really talented, very kind people. And then we have social events every now and then as well. So it's a good way to network with other veterans and just it's community. You need community in this industry.
Well, I've been honored. I met the guys who started it when it was VFT before it became VME. And, I've been involved as a civilian in doing support for military veterans in the film industry. So I've been honored to be able to do like some different things on producing and line producing for VME and attend the Army Navy game every year. And that's always a blast watching everybody go at each other between Army and Navy. It's such a great group, and the people who lead it and run it it's a fantastic I say one of the better things that have come to the Hollywood industry, because all these military veterans, bring a different energy. And so it's just a great group. Anybody who wants to join it, who is a military veteran in the industry, can go online, correct? It's online, Veterans Media and Entertainment, and they can sign up and join.
And it's all over the country too. It's not just LA. We have branches and they keep every state. We keep getting, as people move away from LA and they settle in different states, we have branches all over the place now, New York and everywhere in between. So.
Excellent. Yeah. So people can definitely go to that. Then the other thing you had mentioned earlier, obviously you one big part of what you do is service, and there's so many ways that you're involved in service and giving back to veterans and to the military and to first responders. It's a big part of who you are and your character. You talked about the Gary Sinise Foundation. We talked about the American Legion and the American Legion Riders. Tell us a little bit about all of that part of your life that's about giving back and serving others and honoring the people who do serve.
Yeah. And there's also just recently, it's been years now, but I actually volunteer for the Navy SEAL Foundation. And if there is a Navy SEAL who's getting ready to be discharged, if he wants to enter the entertainment industry, I kind of mentor them. So I've mentored a couple guys, and one guy in particular has done really well. I mean, he's been on Terminal List, both of them. He's done commercials. He was in the movie that we shot in West Virginia last year. So he's doing really well. So I do that as well. But I think my heart for that is that I just love our veterans. I love our military. I'm a strong believer that if we didn't have a good, strong military, our country would no longer be. I mean, there's a lot of evil people that want to take us out, and it's all. The only reason we're around is and the freedom is around. Look at World War II, the Greatest Generation, all those guys who they were 14 years old and lying about their age so they could go and fight for our country, and so it's changed a lot, unfortunately, but I think we can get our military back to the strength it used to be and have the respect around the world that we used to have. So I think that's my heart in it. I just, the men and women who serve our country, I just have a real special place in my heart for them and first responders as well. If it weren't for our first responders, I mean, can you imagine? Look at this hurricane that just hit and devastated our East Coast. All those first responders that are out there right now, helping people and saving people's lives and protecting property. And it's just, it takes a real special person, I think, to do that. So I like to try to give back and honor them.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing all that, and I think it's what you're saying is so true. I mean, it's just very powerful, and even like with what's going down, the hurricane down there, kind of gives people the other side of what these service people do, mm-hmm. and it just you realize where would we be without them? Where would that community be without them? Mm-hmm. And so it's keeping that in mind and always being willing to honor those who serve is an important thing. So thank you for doing that, man.
Yeah, and hats off to those guys and gals out there too that are, working for the power company. They're working 24/7 trying to restore power to those people. And man, they are just really selflessly working to help restore their communities. And that's what it's like to be an American. I think it's just a real special thing that we have.
And it's not, and for people to realize it's not over when the storm is over. The restoration and all the work mm-hmm. that's going to go in to keep people safe, to rebuild, to help. Yep. I mean, it takes a lot, and it's going to take all those people who are willing to put in the time, effort, and sacrifice. So,
absolutely,
yeah, we're definitely blessed by that. And then the other thing, American Legion, Post 43 in Hollywood, great post. I'm a member as a son of the Legion. You're a member as a Legion member. It's a great organization. If you're both a veteran and/or if your parents were in the military, you can join as a son or a women's auxiliary. So mm-hmm. people can check it out. It has a great movie theater. It's a great place to hang out. A lot of great events, great people, just a great community. So that's something else that people can check out online. American mm-hmm. Legion, Hollywood, Post 43.
Yep.
Anything else you want to do? Future projects? Any takeaways, life lessons, things that you want to share with us as we come to a close?
Yeah, I'm just still, out there auditioning. In fact, I just booked a role on Grey's Anatomy, if you can believe that show's still on. 21 seasons that show's been on. Wow. So that's going to air in a couple weeks. And just keep plugging away. I'm leaving Tuesday to go on a 2-week trip, go around the West Coast again. And so if I'm not riding my Harley or auditioning, I'm just, reading or doing something like that. So I'm just looking forward to what the future has. I think it's just getting started.
Well, I think once again, it's great, all the things that you do and just, living courageously, going out there, doing everything and having an adventurous life and realize we are a great country. We are a great people. And there's just so much we can all do more of if we all step up and help each other and find a way to realize that we got more in common than we got differences. So we should, and we see that in the American Legion post as well. Yep. Look out for each other rather than finding a way to hate on each other.
Yeah,
I think that's, a message personally that I would share, but
yeah.
Anything else? Any final words? Tom, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all of the journeys you've been on in your life and will continue to be on, and have a great ride across country again. But let me let you make the final word on this, and then I'll close out the show.
Yeah, just appreciate you, John, what you do, all the 85 episodes so far of Living Courageously. I think it just points the spotlight on the good. I mean, you turn on the news and you look online and it's bad, 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 bad. It's nice to have something that's refreshing and points to the good in people. And so I appreciate what you're doing with this show. And just to your audience out there, just wish the best for you. Godspeed, and we'll see you on the next time.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you for all you continue to do. And thank you for your service. And I wish you the best with, I can't wait to see you on Grey's Anatomy. I can't believe it's still on. I guess we're old, man. Until the next time, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Okay. Thanks, John. We'll
okay, take care. All right, okay. Tom. All right. I want to thank everybody. I hope today's show with Tom Ohmer inspired you to live courageously. And, we shared in his life, both in service in the military, as a police officer, in all the service stuff he does in the American Legion and for nonprofits, supporting veterans and military and first responders, and also his creative life and the journey and adventurous life that he's went on. So I hope that inspires you to go for your dreams, never give up, find a way to always, be a good human, do more, be better, and, find a way to serve others and not be a taker and someone who just takes away. So add something to make life better. So if you haven't seen my previous 84 podcasts with some of the amazing, courageous friends I have sharing their powerful stories of overcoming all odds and going on to live powerful lives and making a difference in the world, you can watch them on my website, live-courageously.com. You can also watch it on my YouTube channel, Live Courageously. So join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for another courageous guest. And I encourage you to live courageously, make your life a masterpiece, and God bless you until we meet next week.